Hello guys, this is a tutorial about how quickly earn your first points in EpicLaunchX. So currently we have a most easiest project in the platform. It's called Hello World, and this is consisting of only one launch and one task. So one sprint and one task, and you will earn a 50 points at the end. So after signing up successfully, you will get a suggestion, an email about their next project, and this next project, the easiest one, is a Hello World. And let's explore what does it mean in general to earn a points in EpicLaunchX. So whenever you open a project details, you will have a project name, project description, how many people have completed this project, the write-up, and the link to the Medium article, for example, right? And you can read and understand how others have passed this project. Then you have the extra project details. Basically, we mimic here a spec as an objective and a context, which is really helpful to understand that how the real world requirements have been collected. So basically, read spec, objective, and the context. And then in this section, we have one launch, one task, as we have mentioned, and 50 points at the end. So you can read the learning outcomes, and you can understand that, for example, what's the launch? A launch in this terminology, a launch is equivalent to a sprint, and the task is exactly a GitHub issue. So the next step, quickly go to get handy with the platform, and basically we need a launch project. And when you click a launch project, it automatically will create a GitHub repository for you. And then it will create a GitHub project board for you and then the tasks of these launches. And if you notice that we have a quick note here, do not fork the repository, instead accept the invitation to the repository. What does it mean? The platform automatically added your GitHub username or GitHub user to the repository as a collaborator. So the next step here, obviously go to the GitHub and then to accept the invitation. Let's explore what it consists in the repository itself. So repository created with your GitHub username, with the project name and the level of the project. And if you go to the README is quite extensive. I highly encourage you just read it thoroughly. So as a welcome, then standards and conventions, we have added a project cheat sheet which tries to emphasize or summary what kind of standards and conventions we have in order to contribute to the repository. Why it's important to have a standards and conventions, because whenever you go to the some company or team, they definitely will have some kind of standards on branch naming, how they commit, how they proceed with the tasks. So it's important just to get handy with that. So whenever you read the cheat sheet, right, when you have a like commit message, run test, reformat code, and then you have a branch naming, so pattern for the passing the EpicLaunchX reviews. For the branch naming, you need to have a launch number and the task number. So for us, it's a launch one and a task one. So this is the cheat sheet, so you need to read it. So we have a preferred section. We prefer you to use a GitHub Codespaces because there will be no install or setup problems with that. So what we can do quickly is go to Codespaces and create a Codespace, and it will launch a browser VS Code basically, and do all setup for you. No need for the local setup. So it will take some time. Let's go back to the platform and let's explore what we have here. So we've explored the GitHub repository. The next is GitHub board, which is pretty much a board for the backlog. So it should be pretty familiar. If not, And even better, because we try to encourage or teach the people from day one that they can see such boards when they land to the job. And for example, to do an in progress, in review, those steps are quite straightforward. So they are standard basically. Another crucial part of after launch is project progress and the details. So if we go here, again for the project, now it's activated for us. So launch one, 50 points, and then there's an overview and a how to complete section. And what it suggests, or what it requires, that you have a launch one and task one for the branch naming. So all PRs should come from these branches. So what does it mean for us? That the pattern. So for example, if you have a task two in launch one, so it will be launch one and task two. Or if you have a task three in launch two, then launch two and task three. So this is a decision we made on the naming of the branch, and then the way we try to teach the engineers how we accept the PRs. If you click the more here, so there is a task one, and then how to complete section for the task, and then available hints for the task. So in EpicLaunchX, this is the test first approach. So we do require the unit test from starting day one. So you read the description. It requires that you create a welcome function. It should return hello world back. And then in the bold, we can see that do not forget to implement a PyTest test for the function. So we need a PyTest test for this. And then available hints, you can go for the skill metrics. So skill metrics is just relation to the foundations. What kind of skill you will gain when you complete this task. Each this task is synchronized with your repository. So this is, if you go to the issues, you can see the exact the same description. And then, of course, the convention. So you can read the standards and conventions from our dedicated documentation. Also, you can again read the cheat sheet from this documentation. So again, this is pretty straightforward and standard way of working in software companies. They have a dedicated documentation. And then you assign to the ticket, or you assign to the GitHub issue, and then they provide for some kind of documentation link. Hey, read it and be familiar with it. So make it on your own. And that's also important to have. And that's saying, so we are pretty much done with that. And then if we go back to the the Codespace, we can see that already the setup is done. And if we try to, for example, run make comments, so make comments are available, a virtual environment available, so no setup problems there. It's already ready to use. So let's quickly do launch one and task one. Sorry. So we created a branch as regarding to this to our patterns, and then we read the project description, how to complete section, sorry, and then it requires that you create it under utils the welcome function. And then what does it mean for us? So we go to the utils and then create let's create a welcome py, and then def welcome. So and it should return hello world. And let's do the wrong thing, because I don't want to return, for example, I want to return some wrong thing. Here it requires with hello world, and at the end we just omit one string. So intentionally, obviously. So then we create a test, and let's do the test. Utils py, and then here def no thanks, def test welcome, And then we do a quick assert welcome, and it should be equal to hello world. Let's do the correct thing in a test, just for checking. So make format, and we ensure that we do pass the linter. So all good, and then what we do git add, and then git commit, and the commit must be a conventional commit. So add one function, and it's gonna fire the pre-commit hooks. So we have extensive checklists before getting to the PR side. This is again a common standard, so you need to be familiar with that. It will take some amount of time, I guess. Let's see. So what the pre-commit hook has is a branch naming, the coverage. So it checks, it has a simple security check, type check, and it checks for the conventional commit. So that's it. We need to push it. So obviously this is and before push again, we have some kind of checks. So all good. And so the next step here to open a PR. So again, as you do your day-to-day programming tasks, so you need to open PR in order to be accepted, isn't it? And then you define the clauses one, which task it close, because it's launch one, task one, and we want to close one. And after that, you create a pull request. So after creating pull request, the automatic review is gonna be started. Of course, we have extensive list of CI checks. Then eventually we have a two-step verification process. One thing is AI agent detects something wrong. So here AI agent decides there's something wrong with your solution. So basically requirements asks for this string, but we put one string at the end less. That's why it failed. And again, we have a static also verification. We just search for the requirements and then try to understand what kind of code you have sent in the PR, and then we give that, okay, we can't see the string in the code implementation. And then you can't, of course, merge this. So what we can do, okay, we read the review comments, we see our failures. So the next step obviously is going back to the code and try to fix this issue. And now we just don't forget to run the test. So test passed. One more time. So test passed, yeah, passed. And then you run the same code, run the same command. For committing, of course, we need to have again conventional commit message. So this is a fix, and a fix is return correct string. And again, few checks, and then in the push. Yeah. Whenever we push the new code, the review cycle will start one more time. And now we expect approval. Yeah, congratulations, UPR has passed our review. And because we fixed the test, because we've passed all of the reviews, and then I guess that all those parts also will be passed, and then you can merge a pull request. So far, if you go to the project, active project details, and you can see that here, it's already in loading. So your task transition from to do to the loading or in progress stage. And then you also get the notification in the platform that congratulations, your PR with commit ID has passed our review. So you also track your progress from the platform as well. So let's go back and see what happened here. So we go here. Yeah, all good. So the merge, if now if we merge the pull request, you can choose, for example, so I personally prefer rebase and merge. It will have a clean history and a clean commit history. So let's just do rebase and merge. And then when you go back and see that, okay, your task has transitioned to the done, and it is indeed done. So then you have this share your achievement link, which is pretty much, congratulations, you have completed Hello World. You can share it with LinkedIn, Twitter, or in a in another platform. So, and also not here. Um, if you go to the notifications, congratulations, you have successfully finished task one in Hello World. So this is a quick overview of what we are doing and what we are trying to achieve here, trying to show the practices of the software engineering in general is simple, small subset of it. Of course, we can't show everything in one shot. So that's it. You have earned the first point, completed the project, and you have explored nearly everything in the platform. So there's much more things to show, like learning path, leaderboard, and the dashboard. But I will just cut this video here, and yeah, we will meet each other in the next upcoming videos. See you. Take care, and bye bye.